name of the everlasting Father. He that causes all that exists to exist. There was no 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He that is self-existent. He who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years. He who made time to see the universe. Known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aton. Among the Hebrews as Ansaf, Yahweh, Elohim. Among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah. Among the Muslims as Allah, the one God. Among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari. Among the Yoruba tribe as Olodumare, Obatala. Many other Orisha gods and Orisha names, but I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, Almighty God. And it's to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, those children of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are that lost 13th tribe born here in North America, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you all in the ancient but yet holy words of peace, in the many languages of our fathers of Hotep. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Ibaragani. Alafia. Ashe. All greeting words and salutations of peace in the many different languages of our fathers. I greet you in peace. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Toma Nation, aka Temple of Mercy Association, located at 616 East on 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois, bringing you live broadcasts and information every Sunday from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. But if you want to hear a little bit more of what you hear today, I think you should just take your phone and hop in the car and keep it on and make your way over here to 616 so you can get the full hour instead of the 30 minutes that you're about to get today. I am Brother Minister Rahim Chesed Aton, founder of this great movement, along with the co-founder, Minister Omari Jahi Aton, and our First Lady of Toma. I almost said it again, but Sister, how about I say Sister Minister? Sister Makita, you know that M is next to Minister too, you know. Sister Makita Aisha Aton. I'm gonna start getting out some studies on our ministership, but not yet. It's coming. So anyway, I just want to have a little fireside chat with you all today. We're not sitting at the fireside, but with the weather like it is, a nice little fireside chat look like it's due, a little bit like overdue. And seeing that this is a weekend leading up to one of the Caucasians' holidays called the 4th of July. You know, this is one of their lies. Well, really, they didn't lie. It's just that Black people grabbed onto the lie, you know, and made it a lie. And what I mean by that is that it was their independence. It was them freeing themselves from the British, said the Jews, freeing themselves from the British, from British rule. Those who came over here to America from Britain and set up their own little camps, their own little places to stay. I say that for him because I'm talking to him too. When they set themselves up, they formed 13 colonies or 13 houses, I call it that, in America, the first 13 houses in America. And the Britons or the British, from where they came over in England, they still wanted to run them and tell them what to do and how they should do things over here in America. And they got tired of it and said, no, we want to do our thing. We don't want y'all to tell us nothing. So we're going to separate. Britain said, no, you won't. They said, yes, we will. Britain said, I dare you. They said, okay, watch. So then they started not doing the laws and rules of Britain, and they came over here, the British, in their military uniforms and their military ships, and they started fighting with the 13 colonies that were here. And they fought and fought and fought and killed so many people, that white people fighting white people, basically. And they killed so many people trying to make those people change their mind and stay with the British. But it just so happens that the people over here won. British ran back home with their tails tucked between their legs, and they left those people alone over here, and so they celebrated. Is that correct? Or is it the other one?
What do you mean?
That's not the Civil War, is it?
No.
That is the one I'm talking about, correct?
American Revolutionary War.
That's what it's called. It was called the Revolutionary War. And so the actual day that they claimed their independence was July the 4th. What was the year? Somebody Google it. 1776, July the 4th. They claimed their independence. Now, the reason we don't celebrate it is because it wasn't our independence. At that time, we weren't free. At that time, we were slaves. And they did not see us as human. And so it was their independence from Britain, but not our independence from them. They kept us, 1776, we should have been free, right? Maybe. But we actually, to be strictly truthful to the whole thing, we actually did not become free until 1969. Now, that's the truth, because that little paper that they call themselves signing, called the Emancipation Proclamation, did nobody really go by? Because at that time, those 13 colonies and all, there were other states that did not agree still with the northern states or any of them. And this is why Juneteenth came in place, because it was other states that said, I'm not going to recognize that. And it took the military from the north to go to the West Coast in order to force them. See, people that know that ain't in the writing in Wikipedia, see. To force them, the presence of military force, force them to let the slaves go.
And it still wasn't enough.
And it still wasn't enough, see. And so we don't celebrate what they tell us to celebrate. But Juneteenth should not be really a celebration. I believe Juneteenth should be a recognition. And what I mean, on a day like that, instead of celebrate, we should come together and teach the history. And not only the history of Juneteenth, but the true history of the war between the North and the South. The true history of that war. And why President Lincoln decided to let us be free. We need to know the truth of that. And that is what should be done on that day in all the schools and everywhere. Have big powwows or something. But anyway, thank you for asking. And I'm going to get back to what I wanted to talk about, but that's part of it. I wanted to talk to you about our faith and the sense of hopelessness that I continue to feel around me, in the neighborhood, in the city, in the world. But it's being covered by entertainment. See, so that you won't really see it. but you can still feel it. Yeah. Well, I ain't thinking about the Titanic. You'll make me stop talking about what I want to talk about that ship supposedly imploding. I said supposedly, yes, I did. But anyway, and I wanted to talk about that, but I want to talk about it in the aspect of who we are in this whole scenario. The Temple of Mercy Association. Who are we in the midst of all of this stuff that's going on in the world and around us? The shootings, the just killing, period. And the Temple of Mercy started in 1990. And there were many reasons why it started. Most times you hear that it started because there was a lot of killing. And it was killing a lot of young people. The Yummy Sanford guy and all these young people were being shot and killed and funerals everywhere. Nothing in the 2000s have matched yet in Chicago a lot of the killings that took place in the 90s. Because at the end of the year, we was always close to 1,000 or we was at 1,000 people killed. Do you all remember that? Because now it gets like 700, 8, 6. But we had 1,000 and a little bit over people killed every year in our neighborhoods. And so we said, okay, we got to go on a campaign about stop the killing, or the killing of Black youth, the killing of Black boys, and all. We were just going on a rampage about it, telling everybody who's really responsible for it. And that was one of the ways that it started. But another way that it started was more so, I don't know if you want to call it by default or what. But as you all know, if you don't know in Facebook land, I have a gift of playing the saxophone. But it was not a gift that was something that I believe I grew up wanting to do. I had no idea that I would be playing a saxophone. But make a long story short, they call me the sax preacher. So you look it up on the internet and you'll know why I'm saying this. Because as the sax preacher, I began to play it because of the death of my mother when I was 12 years old. And not ever seeing my father, I didn't know why God had taken my mother. And we were young. I was 12. My brother was 9 or 8. No, 7. My brother was 7. I was 12. And my sister, she was 9. My oldest sister was 14. We were all 2 years apart. And when that happened, I had no idea of being a minister or being on a podium or any of those things. I really, really, really didn't know what I was going to do or become. But years later, not too many years, but in my second year in high school, I saw a guy playing the saxophone at an assembly. And just like every other guy, little boy, you see all the girls scream and you play the sax. And all the girls in the assembly were screaming and hollering for him. And I said, I want to play that. I wanted to get the same result, And so I went and joined the band in school. And they tried to make me play trumpet. He kept on saying, you got to live for a trumpet. Here, try the trumpet. I stopped playing. Nope, saxophone. Oh, well, can't you just try the trumpet? Saxophone was over here. Trumpet and all over there. I kept pointing to the saxophone. And he finally said, okay, looks like you're not going to change your mind. Gave me the saxophone. And from there, the rest is history. I've been playing the saxophone now for at least 50 years. And it was a way for me to find some sort of what they call solace. Why am I saying all of this? Because I told you earlier, I don't see where people have hope anymore. All we know is that we are born and that we're going to die one day. And then everybody is surrounding themselves by sports and entertainment and fun all day. You know, I've done more backyard parties than I've ever done. This is how I know it's different. I've done, oh my God, too many backyard parties, and it's nothing but fun. And so I'm saying that in this fireside chat, you need to know a little bit more about Toma, because we have hope and we have faith. But it's not hope or faith predicated. I'm going to have to say it this way, and you may understand it later, on the Bible or the Holy Quran in a sense of religion. The hope is not based on religion at all. The hope is based on the knowledge of knowing that the higher power that rules over us, that y'all call God, can't lie. Now we can, right? Because a lot of us do lie. We shouldn't. But the God who made us can't lie. He don't know how to lie. And he made us a promise. And if he made us a promise and he can't lie, then we have faith that the promise is going to be met. Now, aside from land, which he promised us that, aside from land, he promised us something else: everlasting life. Now, without hope, you're not really living. See, walking around not knowing what's going on, what's happening next, who's going to get shot, who's going to die, who in the hospital, am I going to get cancer, whatever. That's not hope. That's not even faith. So I thought I'd talk to you and say a little something real quick now in these last 15 minutes about Toma. The purpose of Toma is about unity. Black people coming together in unity. And we have 13 points of what we believe and know. Point number 6 says, we believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator regardless of your religious affiliation or denomination, regardless of the name you call yourself, regardless of the titles that you have, doctor, Mr., professor, all of them titles, imam, your rituals that you do every day, the Sunday communion, all that stuff you do, your 5 prayers every day. We have to recognize and accept that uniqueness of each one of those groups, their particular dress, how they dress, some with a turban, some with a robe, preachers with collars. It shouldn't matter as long as you recognize the Almighty Creator of the heavens and earth and the universe as supreme. The God I'm talking about can keep you living in this room or can take you out like that and you be dead and we'll be at your funeral. That type of entity or creator, we must humble ourselves to its presence. Why? Because that is what is required of us to do. That we should always recognize that it is someone or something or entity greater than you and I that created this very intricate body that you don't have to think about it, but your heart beating right now. And no matter how old you are, you would think your heart should be tired. However old you are, that's how long your heart been beating. Now, my heart been beating for 65 years, all day, all night, every second, every moment, ain't stopped. Y'all get what I'm saying? However age you are, that's how long your heart been beating. Whatever age you are, that's how long your heart been beating. And that means that you don't have to think about it. Oh, I better hurry up and wake up so I can think about my heart so it can start beating. No, it beats while you sleep. It beats while you woke, everywhere. And because of that understanding, just that understanding, we got to give homage to that greater, higher being that allows our heart to continue to beat. We should not be promoting one religion over another. That is the last trick. And I had put in my writing, that's the last trick that Satan has on us, is dividing us. It's a wedge or a tool that's used to cause division among us. I hear it all the time. Because we as Christians, and if you're not a Christian this, and if you're not a Muslim that, and if you're not a, no. Get away from those divisions. The war between Islam and Christianity and all of its subdivisions is and have been a long-going war for over 1,000 years. Over 1,000 years. So we're saying that in Toma, we believe and we study the Bible and the Holy Quran. Why? Because we believe and know that if we're going to get back to our morals and principles of righteous conduct and righteous behavior, that there is a guide in the Bible that leads us to moral correctness. Because we've fallen away from it. We don't know how to act no more. Nobody respects one another. Nobody, sometimes, we don't even greet one another sometimes. You know, Mama Rose come right in. Hello, everybody. She greets everybody. It's some people walk in your space and won't say a word. Not one word. It's some people walk in the space and the person already there won't say nothing. You know, but that's moral correctness. That's moral, righteous conduct. And so I want to read real quick in these last few minutes, that because I said this, I want to read some Bible scriptures. All right? Might not have too much time, but I'm going to read one that I love to read. And it says, "Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." A new mind. Not the same old mind you got that got you doing what you're doing. But it says don't be conformed to the world. That means don't get caught up in the things of this world, because the things of this world is not going to help you in your time of need. But it said that you should be transformed. Now, I don't think God would tell us about being transformed if we didn't have the ability to do it. What it is, you don't want to do it. There's no condition or no addiction or no disease that you might have that you don't have the ability to transform out of. And it starts with changing your mind. It starts with how you think. And if you're not thinking positive, if you're not thinking righteous, and if you don't have a drive to discipline yourself, then you will stay exactly as you are. Then another one says, 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 14. Now watch this. "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers." What do that mean? That means you shouldn't hang out with people who don't believe like you do. I know that sounds weird, don't it? But why would he say that? Because people who don't believe like you believe going to keep on causing you hell. And they're going to keep on trying to prove to you that your belief ain't what it is. They're going to keep trying to show you that theirs is it. It says, what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? What communion has light with darkness? Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, said the Lord. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because even though the Nation of Islam is still in America, they're in it, but they're not of it. They separated themselves from the conformity of this world. And they are in it, but not of it. And the only way we can be saved from ourselves is that we come out of the world. There's no time when it's too late. There's no age to where you're too young or too old. But you come out. And the best way to come out is how the Bible said, fellowship with those like yourself. So that's why you commune together and you become like a family. You commune together and you form a brotherhood and a sisterhood where now you help one another. No man or woman is an island unto themselves. Why? Because if we try to be out here all by ourselves, we run into something and people just use and misuse and abuse you. You got to be in a position where you can call on a friend. What if you don't have a friend to call on and you just out here all by yourself? I know how that feels to be by yourself. I was by myself. I know how that felt. I know how it felt running away from foster homes and sleeping in the park. I know how that felt sleeping on the back porch at my friend's house while his family were in the house, his mother, his father, his brothers and sisters, and he had me on the enclosed back porch, sleep. I know how it feels to sleep in the attic because my friend's mother had the night shift at the post office and would come in during the day. I'll be hidden in the attic. I know what it feels like. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I am not talking from something I read in the book. I'm talking from experience. But I also knew that things could be better. I also knew when I was your age, Brother Prince, when I looked around the world and I saw all the killing and all the murder and all the stabbing and all the cussing and whatever, and I asked God, I looked up to the sky and said, God, is this how the world really is? I said, is there another side to this? Is there another side to the killing? Is there another side to stabbing and cussing and smoking and drinking? Is there another side? I didn't get no answer. So I said to myself, I'll look for it. And I went on a mission to find good. I went on a mission to find righteousness. And even though I wasn't a sax preacher in high school, even in high school, they called me preacher man. That's what they called me. I walked into school, I had a Bible. So God has something for me to do all the time. I'm like Amos in the Bible who said, I didn't come from a background of preachers. My father, my grandfather, Martin Luther King's father was a preacher. His grandfather was a preacher. On back. I didn't come from a line of preachers. Like Amos said, he was just a shepherd boy, herding sheep. I was just an average Joe, average kid, parent on welfare. They ain't had link cards then, they had food stamps. And my mother was on all of that stuff. We grew up what you call poor, P-O, forget the O-R. Y'all ever heard that before? Poor. I grew up poor, but I'm trying to tell you, when you connect yourself to a higher power, you're rich. Because then, and then alone, you know that you're in good hands. And if you're in God's hands, you may not get the answer.
We invite you and your family to join us live every Sunday at 6.
You heard it from me. Something good is going to come out of it. Something good. See, if my mother would not have been taken from me, I wouldn't be playing the saxophone. If my mother wouldn't have been taken from me, I wouldn't have been able to travel throughout the United States, all over in Europe, all over in Canada, and playing my horn and making people cry and laugh and and all. I wouldn't have been able to do none of that. Look, you all, if I would not have been playing my horn, I wouldn't be looking at you today.
Sunday worship service. We invite you and your family to join us live every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street at our new time from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. and on Facebook from 12:30 to 1 p.m. If you have enjoyed what you have heard, please feel free to support us with a monetary gift on Cash App at $TOMANATION. Once again, that's $TOMANATION. This will conclude our live stream. The message you have been listening to will continue live here at the Toma headquarters. We thank you, Black family. See you next Sunday. Black Power.
The one that causes existence, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power!